What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday, or whenever it is you're watching this video. We are going to be talking about Wildcard Weekend on Sunday this time. We just did a Saturday video, which hopefully you guys have watched and we make some money from. Sheets, any first thoughts on the Sunday slate? It feels a little more fun than the Saturday slate. They're both fun, but I feel like I kind of like this slate a little better for some reason.
I definitely like this one better. And I presume that Kamara's not playing, right?
As of right now, I think we have to presume that. I don't know what to do, but to presume that.
Yeah, so we can either go game by game or position by
well,
position.
let me rephrase this. I think, I don't know if we should presume that.
There was something there. He made some comment or something. He said, "I'm back." There was something he said. I don't know. I wasn't paying too much attention to it.
We don't even know about Lat Murray, though. Like,
oh, he might not play either. Also,
he has the COVID risk too.
Oh, this is what it is. He posted a message on his Twitter account that he's on track for Sunday's wild card. I don't know if he has the right to. I don't know if it's up to him. That's a thing.
Yeah, we were told Colin Sexton was going to play last night, and we saw what happened there.
Yeah, it's not like my knee feels better, I'm playing. It's
Yeah. Well, let's just bring it up as an interesting point then. Let's just say he does play. Does he become an interesting fade? I think as mega chalk along with Henry, they're both going to be 1,000,000% owned. Do you think we fade him?
Well, who's going to be? Who's the better fade? You know what I mean? Like,
right. I think the better fade would be Kamara, just because who knows exactly what's going to happen. I don't know. It's a good question, but
here's the thing. We could start talking about the Baltimore Tennessee game. So here's the thing. You have two teams. I think it's gonna be a great game, man. So you have two teams that would just, on the one hand, would love to just run it 50 times. Yet on the other hand, they can sling it a little bit too, and it's going to be a fun one, man. I think that both quarterbacks are just incredibly in play in this spot. I feel that Lamar and J.K. Dobbins are both in play for Baltimore. And on Tennessee, I mean, Derrick Henry, he's just the man. I don't know what else to say. But at some point, aren't teams just going to I guess it doesn't matter, I suppose. I would say teams can just stack the box and I hate to make somebody beat you, but the thing is that Tannehill can beat you too. It's I don't know, man. I definitely like Lamar as probably, and again, this is not, I'm not a Lamar guy normally, but I think Lamar is going to just go nuts in this game. I think he's going to run for 150 with 2 touchdowns, and the QB slate's going to be over. I think that people that play Breeze are going to be in for a long dose of bitching about Taysom Hill and other things like that, and Kamara. And I think the people that play Ben Roethlisberger will be cursing how bad he's become or whatever it is, and people that play Trubisky are going to be just, oh my God, the Saints defense is actually really, really good. And I just think Lamar is going to just destroy this freaking position. That's my initial take on this game, I guess.
We are on the same page with Lamar being the best quarterback option on the slate. I find myself double pairing him with receivers from Pittsburgh and stuff like that. I just think there's so much opportunity for him here to have a monster game. And what's interesting is that we have the question. First of all, you don't need to pair Lamar with anybody on a 3-game slate, but I do think this is the matchup you'd want to play Marquise Brown. The speed, the secondary has just been torched all year, and they also can't stop anybody doing anything really. And I agree that Lamar is going to run for a ton too. So you don't necessarily need to go for the home run play in Brown, but I think that between Brown, Lamar, and Mark Andrews, even where I'm not playing Lamar, I will have exposure to all 3 of these guys everywhere. I really, really, really like all of these guys. So anyway, I guess we'll talk about it the first game, what we're doing. But
what do you think about Henry?
So look, he's a good play. Unfortunately, we just saw the most rushing touchdowns in one game ever between Tennessee between Baltimore and Cleveland a few weeks back. There's no reason why Derrick Henry shouldn't be able to run on this team, but you got to worry a little bit about maybe game script. The weird part is you're not going to get any extreme low ownership on the receivers. They're both going to be pretty popular, especially Corey Davis at 4,800. So I don't think I can bring myself to do the Tannehill thing at all. But I think that Lamar and then running it back with Corey Davis as opposed to using Henry or both, while it might be chalky, I think it just makes a lot of sense on this slate.
Well, what's interesting is Baltimore and Tennessee both have good running games, and they both would just. I think are they ranked number 1 and 2 in rush v pass? It could be.
Yeah. And
the thing that creates though is less plays for the other team. You know what I mean? So it's So as far as like a game stack, I don't know if it's really the way to do this. I think that I don't know. What do you think about that? Because what's so funny, Baltimore. On the one hand, you say, okay, they like to run it, but it seems like they score in 2 seconds. Is that not the way I'm looking at it? I mean, I don't know.
They break off 20-yard plays at a time. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
So even with a high-powered running attacks, which would usually slow the games down, and also like Derrick Henry almost always breaks like a 50-yarder.
He does. It's crazy.
It's like, you'll be like, oh, great, I faded Derrick Henry. He's only got 3 fantasy points at the end of the third quarter. Next thing you know, he's got 30 at halftime.
Yep.
It's like we've seen that story before. I just think it's interesting, the Dobbins thing. I love Dobbins, by the way, and it should be his job in a lot of senses, but it's not like he's getting the more work than Gus Edwards is. It's pretty close. So
is that true? I mean, even recently, it didn't seem
100% true.
Okay.
Yeah, I think actually Edwards has had more work. Well, yeah, they both had 13 touches last week. He just happened to break one play for 70 yards and a touchdown. That's the difference.
Even though it's just only a 3-game slate, I wouldn't play Lamar with any of the Baltimore running backs.
No, I wouldn't either. But I do think that Gus Edwards enters the secondary running back option conversation. And I think that he's actually kind of interesting. There's a chance that even near the goal line that he might get more of the carries. It could go to Dobbins. I mean, honestly, they've sort of everybody thinks it's trending all in Dobbins' direction and all this stuff, but you look at the touches, they're basically identical. So just be wary of both. I don't feel like overwhelmingly excited about either, but I do think I might throw some Gus Edwards into some lineups. And I unfortunately like the chalk in this game a little more than I'd like to, but that's where I'm at. Are you going to ask me about if we can do something now on the showdown slate? Just because Sheets is going to play him, you should get yourself some Miles Boykin.
Boykin.
Get yourself Des Bryant. Those are showdown plays, and then Devin DuVernay is also the other showdown play I would play, especially with the Baltimore defense.
I think that the Lamar Jackson just takes the whole game over.
Great.
That's my moto take on this game is that he was out. Look, he was out a couple of games, I guess, because of COVID or whatever, and he's the only time he hasn't smashed is when he's been pulled out of the game in the third quarter. You know what I mean? I'm kind of in on this one.
And on the 2-game slate, I prefer Mark Andrews over Logan Thomas.
You mean the 2-day slate?
Right, okay. 2-game slate, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So you prefer Mark Andrews? Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of goodness potential in this spot for and that thing is, like, if they are going to do all that, like you said, stack the box and do all those things, it's going to be over the top the defense to Hollywood Brown, and it's going to be lots of intermediate routes for Mark Andrews.
Yep. You like AJ Brown for Tennessee or no?
I like it for I think he's an awesome. I think these guys are both just really, really. I think Corey Davis, like, everybody gave up on this guy so quickly. He's a really good receiver too. Their production is so close in general that it's always the pricing doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like they basically score the same amount of fantasy on the season. I know that AJ Brown has more, but it's not that much more. And there's a $2,200 price difference. And I know Corey Davis is going to be more popular because of the price difference. But I was sort of hoping that, Corey Davis would be like the same price or near the same price so I could play him at no ownership. Brown is a more safe play in terms of like what he'll get usage. But Corey Davis at 4.8 does just feel a little too cheap. So I'm right now probably with the field. I'm pretty much on the chalk in this game, and that kind of sucks. but I'll be over the field on all the chalk, so at least I'll have that going for me.
Okay. New Orleans, Chicago.
Yep.
You have an opinion on this game? Because I have one.
So I mean, I've been waiting for the Mooney thing to happen forever, and I'm a little bit annoyed that I would have to play him at chalk, and I think that you don't necessarily need the savings as much on this slate. So fading Mooney actually, like he's going to be like 20% owned, I think, and I liked him at the idea of like 10% or something like that. I still probably will play a lineup with him in a stack or something, but I don't know
what's the deal? Who's out?
No, he's just become their legit receiver. He had 11 catches the last game of the season. That's basically what's happened. And then if you look at his totals, he's picked up a ton over in the second half of the season. He really picked up his production. That's basically it. He's legitimately, if you watch the games, he literally is the guy they go to. Like he and Allen Robinson get more than their fair share of work when they were double teaming Allen Robinson last week. It's at 20%, you still should take some shots, but if, it feels a little weird. And then Allen Robinson in a tough matchup, probably going to be peppered with targets. So he's always in play, but he's going to be pretty popular too. So I'm okay with being a little bit underweight. I wanted him as a contrarian play. To be honest, my favorite contrarian play in this game probably, well, on the Bears side, is Cole Kmet. I don't think people are going to look to him. And if you wanted to go savings different at tight end, Kmet at 3K, I actually have some double tight end lineups with Kmet and Andrews. I think we saw him get targeted a bunch in the game last week against Green Bay when they're coming back, or trying to come back, I should say. Now, there are a lot of short routes and stuff like that, but there was, he'll get some work. He'll get some potential shots near the goal line too. We haven't seen the explosion game. I know people are fed up with playing him, but it's a 3-game slate, and he's going to be like less than 10% owned probably on DraftKings. And just probably worth mentioning that Jimmy Graham is, just put up 23 2 weeks ago at 2 touchdowns. I know that it's not like, that's the thing that takes away from Kmet partially, but throwing in a completely unknown Jimmy Graham in a large field tournament is not the worst idea in the world.
Yeah, I think that the Bears get run out of the gym.
You like it, right?
Yeah, I've been very, very impressed with the Saints fighting with no players over the last like 5, just shutting everybody down. And then even the game like 6, 8, 7 weeks ago, which seems like forever ago, where they played Tampa and they won like 1,000-0 or something like that. I think that, look, I little respect to Trubisky. He came back, whatever. He was basically run out of the league at one point. And he came back and they got put in a position where they're slinging the ball around, scoring some points. But I think they have a really big problem in this game. And I think that Allen Robinson has a tough matchup, and the fact that he's a little banged up also doesn't help. So what happens then is that all this wide receiver position in this whole slate is kind of fishy, So for me, I am wide receiver, and I hate to do this. If Michael Thomas is playing,
yep.
I mean, if he's going to be 100% owned, I think it's too little. I mean, I think that's just kind of no. I mean, I just consider all the other options here. I think that injury reserve. He probably could have played last week. He's resting. He's ready to go, and Breeze is going to be so happy to have him back. I think he's going to catch 15 balls or whatever it is, and I think that just given the other options on this slate, I think I'm going to take him. And the only thing I expect from Robinson is coming from behind type points, mm-hmm. which certainly possible. And I like your Kmet thing. I think I like that. I think it's a good idea. I didn't really have much thought for Mooney, but I guess it makes sense if Lattimore is going to be guarding what's his face, mm-hmm. that Mooney's going to be the next guy. Again, I just think it's going to be a rough day for Trubisky.
I agree. I'm having a hard time figuring out how the Bears exactly stay in this game without like some fluky plays. I really don't see it happen. I sort of am with you on that, but I mean, we've seen weirder things happen. The one thing it makes me want to get off David Montgomery chalk, but the thing is, he caught 9 passes in the last game in a sort of blowout-ish situation. He's shown more of an ability to catch the ball this year than people may realize, and they don't have anybody else really. They're not going to use Brian.
People are playing. I don't need to play him. You need to play David Montgomery.
So okay, so but based on what you're saying, they get run out of the gym. Where do the 35 targets go?
To the Saints defense? I don't know.
I mean, David Montgomery we just had this situation like last week. David Montgomery had 9 catches.
Yeah.
It's,
I guess so.
It's the only reason I look. I'll be below the field on Montgomery. Don't get me wrong.
No. I mean, you made a good point. I guess that's why Mooney's going to get. Is this a good play? And I guess that's why Montgomery's a good play.
It's almost I'm having like the thing is I have interest in playing just for the PPR stuff. Like I think on FanDuel, yeah, go ahead, let's fade all these guys. But I think on DraftKings, it's almost like you want one of the pieces of the passing game just because they're going to have to eat up the target somewhere. Somebody's going to have to get targeted a bunch of times in this game, and they're all affordable and mostly will, other than Montgomery, have low enough ownership where you can consider them. I agree with you about Michael Thomas. I think we just play him. I love, even if Kamara plays, going again with your game script and everything, I love Lat Murray here. I think it's an awesome play if Kamara plays even. He gets work anyway. You know what I mean? It's not like we haven't seen him have monster games in blowouts where the Saints are running it up and they'll give him the ball near the goal line as well. He's got the 20 plus point upside for a 4,500 guy who's going to be low owned. So I'm sort of interested in doing something like that maybe, especially if I don't know. We'll see what happens with Kamara. It's hard because it's going to be a tough fade on Kamara, but it's one I'm open to taking a look at and just playing Lat Murray instead.
Yeah. So the late night, late slate hammer. I think it's the best way to describe this. Is I'm kind of into this idea. I'm into the idea that the Roethlisberger still has something left, and he look, it looked like he was just totally dead in the Cincinnati game. And then whatever, he got pumped up and he had a really, really good game against Indianapolis. Then they rested, whatever it is. I think that he's got weapons, and I think that they're gonna. I think they have a chance to go off here. And on the other hand, I think I like on the Cleveland side, I'll play some Landry, but I've had a lot of respect for this Pittsburgh defense the whole season, and sometimes it hasn't really looked that good, if you want to know the truth. But I'm kind of into it. I think that Cleveland, if anything, can maybe run the ball a little bit. So, Chubb and Hunt would be good. So I like Hunt better than some of these other ancillary running backs. Like,
Yep.
So I like him rather than
doubled. I've got them doubled up, by the way.
Two of them together?
I have Hunt and Lat Murray in my initial.
Oh, I thought you meant Hunt and Chubb together. Okay.
No.
Okay. So, I mean, like between Hunt and talking about game script, I got Hunt, McKissick, Montgomery, like you said. Although Montgomery's obviously the lead back, whatever. Who's the other guy from the earlier slate? Not McKissick. Who's the other? Hines. But Hunt's better than all those guys, right? I mean, like, so I like him. But I think I don't know. I think like you said, I think you play Lamar and you run it back with the Pittsburgh receivers, right? I think that's something you could do also. But I like look. Given what I said, that I thought that aside from Thomas, the rest of the receivers on this whole slate were kind of fishy. I'm kind of into playing the Pittsburgh receivers.
Yeah, I think all the Pittsburgh receivers are not just like, I think they're like necessary. I think that you need to have at least one of them in all your lineups. That's my personal take.
Oh, okay.
I just think that, look, we look at every game these guys play, and pretty much 2 of them put up 20 fantasy points in almost every game. You know what I mean? It's been consistently that way the whole season. So we're going to need points, you know what I mean? And they've thrown the ball. Listen to Ben Roethlisberger, and these are games that they were winning mostly too, but his passing attempts, because they can't run the ball, 49, 38, 37, 53, 51, 46, 46, 42, 49, 32. He had the couple down ones. I don't know, man. I'm having a very, very hard time not wanting to play a lot of these guys. I actually have some respect for the Browns defense, but I think that, like, okay, so priorities. The priority is Deontay Johnson.
Yep.
Then next would be Claypool for me, and next would be Juju.
Hey, are you going to play James? I wasn't going to play James Conner. Are you playing James Conner?
I'm not playing James Conner right now, and it feels fishy to play like I'm talking about Kareem Hunt and what's his name over him. But we're just so done with this. I'm just so done with this like situation. But I don't want to be just another one of those. I'm just done with these people. Like the game flow entirely should give him some things, but like he doesn't do anything. And
doesn't do anything.
They also have their other running backs healthy who will get some third down work. I would like to fade him and play Hunt instead. And Hunt is my favorite run back on the other side of this game. And I agree with you that some Jarvis Landry makes some sense. I want to see what happens with Peoples-Jones if he's healthy, if he's good to go. Or not.
Okay.
Because I would have some interest in him. I think they like him, and he's a big play potential guy. That's my favorite way to beat the Steelers, who are going to blitz all the time, is to try and take a guy who can take the top off. So he and Higgins both make some sense based on that. And that's again, no, these are not priority plays. James Washington is showdown. Yeah, there you go. James Washington. You know, it's going to be crazy sheets when all these showdown guys are going to go off
in the main slates,
right? Main slates, and we're like, what the hell? The 1% ownership too. Look, it's just worth James Washington. Like, this guy projects every week for and he usually gets 2 or 4 fantasy points, but then he get 15, 16, 17. Great showdown play. I don't think I can do it on the main slate. But I love these. I mean, I'm going to have 1 or 2 in most of my lineups, I would say, of the Pittsburgh receivers.
You know, playing Derrick Henry makes it a little annoying to play other guys, doesn't it?
Well, if you play the cheap running backs, the Latavius Murray, Kareem Hunt, and then you play the Pittsburgh 2 receivers, and you're in business.
Yeah, you're in business, all right. You like your man? You like Sanders at all today?
My man.
Or tomorrow?
You mean Emmanuel Sanders?
Yeah.
I have him a little bit.
Okay, well, that's something. No.
Yeah, but it's we think they're going to dominate this game, and we love Michael Thomas. So what do we really expect to get from him is sort of my thinking.
Yeah.
I actually do like, and also he's going to have some ownership. The guy I kind of do like who's going to have no ownership, I should have mentioned in the last game, though, when we were doing it, but I like Jared Cook a little bit here.
That's interesting.
He's over the middle, and he's going to be unowned. I think it's a raw points play. I mean, you're playing him hoping he outscores Brown. You're playing him hoping he outscores Andrews. And then, I didn't mention for Pittsburgh also, you can include Eric Ebron in that list of all the guys you can target. I think Ebron is a terrific play as well. You can take a quick look at what Ebron did last time they played Cleveland. No, they didn't play. They were up by too much to throw the ball there. They won 43-16. But yeah, Ebron is another one who fits into this the categories. But I just think that you're going to have really low ownership on Jared Cook, and he's got a pretty good rapport. It's a good team to use a tight end against. He's been pretty much a touchdown about half the time, half the games type of guy, and an unknown tight end. So I'm just kind of interested in him a little bit.
Yeah, and again, you're talking about narrative stream. This is exactly the way you're not supposed to think about DFS, but I'm going to do it anyway. I mean, I'm 53 years old. Oh, going to be 54 in 3 days.
Oh yeah, it's coming up.
And
by the time we do our shows on Monday, you will be 54, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And since I've been following there's just so many games where you got the freaking Pittsburgh Steelers at home at 8:00 at night in the cold, and other teams just go in and just get their asses kicked. I don't care whoever was on Pittsburgh. I don't even care. And it didn't matter what the spread was. It didn't matter whatever. They would show up on Monday Night Football. This team would come in, and Pittsburgh would have. And now it's different. They don't have the terrible towels, no fans or whatever it is. Look, Pittsburgh, and I ask you about this a lot with respect to sports and stuff. Why is it some teams just have these certain identities kind of all the time? And I know that Pittsburgh is they've been passing the ball or whatever, but they've always just had very aggressive defenses. Their coaches always motivate them between Cowher and all the way back quick to Chuck Noll, but there's Cowher and they've only had head coaches lifetime, right? Mm-hmm. And they're going to be rolling for this game. Cleveland's all excited. They made the freaking playoffs. They're going into Pittsburgh. Mayfield he's very volatile. Let's just put it that way. And I think that they could have a problem here. So that's my no data to support it, but I just think Pittsburgh just creams it.
Yeah. So you're saying we like the what's it called? We like the defenses in New Orleans and Pittsburgh. I don't think that's
we do.
Anything groundbreaking, unfortunately.
Nothing groundbreaking at all.
But I agree with you. I mean, on its face, I actually think Pittsburgh should just maul this team. They did maul this team. They always own this team. They almost beat them.
They almost beat them with no players.
No players since last week of the season.
Mason Rudolph almost knocked them out of the playoffs.
Yeah. So I like the idea of the Pittsburgh hammer stack. Roethlisberger, a couple of the receivers,
Yeah.
and the defense. I think you can go with all of it, and you don't even need a run back. But I do like Kareem Hunt in the run back.
Yep.
I don't think they're going to shut him out. All right, I think we got some good things there.
Yep.
You know, again, we talked about some good pivots. I know it's a kind of a tricky slate, but
Very tricky.
yeah, good luck to everyone out there. Sheets, anything else before we get out of here?
Nope, sounds good.
All right, for Sheets, I'm Bobby saying good luck, and we'll see you at the top of the leaderboards.